So do y'all think intertribal marriage is good, or should we marry within our own tribes to preserve our cultures?
For me, I just also got married equal. Nah, let me stop joking.
And we just said rich like Chubb or something like that.
I'm not married outside either, but I know dude Muslim. Well, I don't know. Let me not say that. Let me not say that. Yeah, because you never really know. I don't want to ever say like I'm not gonna marry a certain type of person, and that's what God now blessed me. Right. So, but I would say like I personally think it's a beautiful thing to like marry outside of your culture, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, we can preserve our culture, but we still have to expand. We still have to learn what other people have going on in their culture. So I think it would be really dope to really just branch out. Like, I know people personally, like family members personally, that marry outside of the culture, and their marriage is successful. It's not all the time that we gotta marry into our culture, because sometimes the people that we marry in our culture, being honest, they're gonna end up breaking out. We gonna end up getting into this big fight, and then it's gonna turn into chaos. Versus when you marry outside of your culture, it's like, all right, now we understand there's two different perspectives here. I grew up a certain way, you grew up a certain way. We understand that, and there's a dynamic here that we understand, and we can just work together. While you marry in your culture, sometimes they don't want to understand that. Not to say it's still not like an overall thing with women, but like they don't want to understand that. So it's like, I think it's gonna be good, personally, if you ask me to.
Coming from a child, okay, I know I forgot Imo, right? Yeah. My mom is from Imo State, my dad's from Delta State, but we migrated from Kogi State, meaning like I'm also Igala. So I'm Igala/Igbo. So coming from a child who has two tribes, right? What we're going to say. It's very difficult to figure out where we're supposed to belong, to be honest. Just imagine my mom is speaking Igbo to me, my dad is speaking Igala to me. First of all, I can't understand Igbo. The problem is, it's two different, languages in the house, so if everything's mixed up, I can't, fully grasp what's going on. So that being said, I don't speak none. You know what I'm saying? I don't speak Igala or Igbo, because y'all done mixed everything. Now it's a potion, and here I am at. So to be honest, like, so when people are like, oh, where's your home? Delta State and Imo State. But it's harder, but I feel like it would be easier if it was just one. If that makes sense. Like, if I just had Imo, my dad from Imo, my mom's from Imo, I could be like, oh, Imo's my homie. But no, I just like, yeah, do it, but don't be shocked if their kids are confused. That's why you see white kids and black kids, and they're like, they don't know where they want to go. Like, mixed kids. Like, they're just like, oh, I'm not black enough. I'm not white enough. So those are things we gotta think about.
Because that's one thing, I think in Nigeria, it's like you go by where your dad is from. Like my parents are both Igbo, both from Abia State, but different villages.
Exactly.
So I still go by both villages, but of course I leave with my dad's. But the only men I've dated, the only men I've had serious crushes online were, and I'll expand it with the diaspora, they were Black American. Oh. So, because most of the Black guys I knew growing up were Black American. Okay. And I do like the idea of learning someone else's culture, where they are. I could see myself dating a Ghanaian or whatever. But I feel like when they're so close in my own village, I feel like we're kin. I feel like it's like a brother. I need to step out, because it's like we eat the same foods, we grow up the same way. I'm like, what are we learning? So it's like you're coming with your own experience, I'm coming with mine, and we still have some sort of commonality, whether we're both African or we're both Black, whatever it is, I've always liked a little difference, but for me, it's always been a deal breaker if someone isn't open to learning about my Igbo culture. That's always always been, no matter who that is. Because you could date someone from your exact village, tribe, and they don't want anything to do with it. So that's something to watch out for.
And I think that's really why I kind of wanted to I wanted not to date Yoruba, I wanted to kind of expand my horizons when it comes to dating, because I want people to learn my culture. Same way I'm learning their culture, I want them to be able to accept my culture. So whenever I do date, and the people that I have dated that were not Africans, that were not Nigerians, that was one thing that they just naturally just learned. Yoruba, they learn how to eat the food, they learn how to wear the clothing, because that is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to invite people into our culture, not just, let's marry into our culture and gatekeep the culture, which is good. I'm not saying that there's something wrong with that. We want to expand our culture as well as a whole.
Yes.
And
State.
Please
You
explain.
always
I think I understand the whole like interracial or mixing cultures because I look at it like some people like to keep their culture because they feel like they don't want anybody to change it. They don't want that new thing because it's been around for like centuries before we were born, before their fathers were born, and mothers were born. And then we're gonna come like, oh, new generation, Gen Z, whatever, and then change it. Like how?
And that's how you lose it, by changing it.
Right. Because if you change one, everything trickles down.
Exactly.
Everything else has to be changed. So it's understandable when I find like people want to keep their culture and marry from their culture. Like it's okay.
Yeah.
But then also too, if you have children that want to like expand, want to explore, like give them the opportunity to, because I look at it from a point, maybe it doesn't make sense. We adapt the Western cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Like England, we got colonized by the English.
Yeah.
We adapt like tea time.
Yeah.
Their clothes, like the way they talk, they're going too.
Yeah.
Like, we
Yeah.
adapt like two different cultures. And we adapt them really well.
Right.
Like when Nigerians adapt from something, we do it really well.
Right.
So to me, I feel like why can't you allow, and like mixture of children, like
Instead of
instead
Yes.
like to me, I think if you as a parent are scared for that, it probably means that maybe you did not show your children enough
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
So you feel they'll get lost because they'll be so intrigued by somebody else and they'll say, oh my God, and then they kind of like forget where they're coming from.
Right.
But if you already have it instilled in them, and also too, in those cultures too, you have to understand cultures were made by people.
Right.
Yeah.
And in those cultures too, like I'm Yoruba, and we have our own, like, I'm not really into a lot of the things they do. I'm more like, I'm open, like, because if I meet somebody and we mesh together and they're not like, they don't want to do exactly what their culture expects them to do, we come together, we make it work for ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's at the end of the day, as long as we're not disrespecting anybody.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it's okay. That's what I feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah.
What do you have to say, Ruth?
I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
I personally feel like it's based on the parents. As a parent, it's your job to instill that in your children.
Yes.
And that's the reason why culture is dying. You know, you were shocked earlier, culture is dying. What's the world?
There we go.
But it's also about the parent and what you just like I said, instilling your children. That's it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of like piggyback of something you said earlier about your
My mixture, yeah.
So I think it really do come down to like how your parents raised you.
Right.
But me, I'm just gonna kind of put this out there as a simulation. If I am to have a home, I want my child to learn whatever culture that my wife is from.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm still going to teach my child. Well, it's not even, let me not say I'm going to teach. I know the family that I come from.
Yeah.
They are going to teach my child.
Yeah.
So it really still comes down to like, even though that we are matching up with another culture, we're marrying into other cultures, our families' responsibilities are still there to be able to teach our kids. Because that is how they will learn the culture. That is how they will be able to understand home, regardless, even if they are in another country, wherever
That's
they
true.
are.
That's
So,
true.
mom's side of the family, God was they. I'm not gonna say they did a bad job, but they were supposed to step in and teach you the culture at a very high level.
Yeah.
And dad's side was supposed to step in as well and teach you because your brain can take that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we have to be able to not run away from that. We gotta kind of.
But there's nothing, I hear you, right? Like, obviously teach whatever you can, but at the end of the day, it's like, where is home? Where's that one place I can call, like, this is my country, or this is my state?
Home is
So even like how you were asking earlier, what state are you from? Don't say any.
But you also gotta realize this though, like, let's be honest, like, majority of the people that are from country, like, cultures in Nigeria, even though, like, the main language that I speak is Yoruba, my dad is from Ekiti State, and my mom is from Ondo State, Akure. So that's, at the end of the day, like, that's still two different cultures. Like, I know my mom's side, they speak a different type of dialect of Yoruba, and my dad's side speak a different so like, there's still that one core thing, and the one core thing is still Yoruba.
And that's the thing, I'm not Igbo, I'm not Igala. You see, you have that core thing.
Okay.
Igala is a whole different language, tribe, food, everything.
Really?
Yeah, it's in the north. And then,
Oh, yeah,
you have to, that's what I'm saying, so if I can go from the north to the south, I'm confused. Where am I from? one Naija, right? But don't be shocked if all 500 plus of our languages starts becoming one language.
Yeah.
You know? So we all have to know how to communicate with each other. Because I'm gonna be real, what you say in one language is completely different in another language. So it's like the only way we can communicate if we can like figure out one language. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But one thing I'm starting to realize too, like within the diaspora, everybody is starting to learn like Yoruba. Not to bring it saying like, oh, like not Yoruba, but it's like a lot of people are starting to learn that. Like if you go to Lagos State, even the Igbos in Lagos, they speak Yoruba so fluent you would think that they're from the same. Yeah. So it's like that's like I just think like you're right about that. Like we really do need to find one thing that we are all good at speaking, and we all just need to communicate with each other. Even if you're outside, if you're Fulani, you're from Nugala, we have to find that one thing that we all can just say, this is what we're going to use to communicate with the rest.
Exactly, and that's it. It goes back to the point. Igbo language will start dying down. I'm not gonna lie, because like you said, Igbos are learning Yoruba language. Yorubas are not learning Igbo. What? No, I'm saying
you're a pidgin, but it's like.
No, I'm just saying, just a language.
I'm not gonna lie.
Everyone is rushing to Lagos. Someone is rushing to Imo. No one is rushing out of the
Yeah.
So, like, come on, let's be for real.
Yeah, and that is honestly though, being honest, that is really it's really crazy because we all need to learn each other's. Because like you said, you believe in one Nigeria. I believe in one Nigeria as well. Like we gotta learn each other's cultures. You know, like we can't just be saying we want to show up to these Igbo parties, we want to show up to these Yoruba. Like and we like, because sometimes I be looking at Igbo's culture, like I really think it's dope. The way that sometimes they dress and the way that they do certain, it's really dope. Same with Yoruba culture. Like there's certain things that and the craziest thing about this is we all have the same culture. Like it's really the same. The things that you guys do at weddings, we do the same thing. We just do it differently. And we dress differently too. So in a sense, we're all the same, but we just have to figure out a way to not let it be like, oh, we want to learn one culture. We want to adapt one culture. We have to adapt all the cultures.
I agree. And it will also like lead towards politics too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would also like help the country as a whole.
Yeah.
Because that's
It's like unity.
Tinubu's not my president. I'm so sorry. He's not my president.
That is not my national anthem. That is not my national anthem.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I feel like it'll help. If anything, I feel like the older people just need to like.
They need to step down.
They need to step down. Like the new generation needs to just now come up and like show their unity, and then.
But I'm not gonna lie though, like to speak on that, as much as the new generation need to step up, and we have tried to step up, there's a lot of situations that like a lot of these things are still managed by greed. You know, like, and we still have all of our young folks that are trying to climb up to power. Yeah, they want to take care of their family, but they want to do what they want to do. But it's like, nah, bro, we cannot do that. We gotta be able to try to preserve our country as much as we can. And I know I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm all about the preservation of Nigeria. It does not matter about nothing else to me. Like I want the cultures, not just Yoruba culture, the cultures to be preserved. I want the food to be preserved. I want everything about the country to be preserved because that is the only way that we are going to be able to move forward.
So how does this affect intertribal marriage?
The culture is being preserved.
Isn't it be just like it's a new time, right? Like okay, even like say American youth, we're more open. There's more interracial marriages going on because we're seeing someone as a person. Like hey, just because you came from a background, we can still make it work. So maybe you think it's the same way with Nigerian youth? We're like okay, I can make it work. I see you as a person. You're bringing in your fair share. I'm bringing my fair share. We can make a life together.
I also just think personally, they actually like. Back then, they were actually in arranged marriage. We had the option. Like we have choices. Like we get to choose what we want. We don't have to follow their laws that they set for them growing up. We have our mind are expanding. Our mind is more well polished, as I would say. So we get to pick whatever we want.
True.
So I think that's why it's just.
We don't always get to pick whatever we want. I mean, I'm not saying me personally, but there's some evil girls that talk to your guy, the family's not going to accept.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then if you think about the war that just happened recently, the Biafra War, I understand why a lot of our parents, the Igbo parents, are angry.
Yeah.
They don't accept it. Like, I get it. If y'all actually look into it.
Facts. The Biafra War was really what set apart the Igbos. Because Nigeria before that was really like an amazing country. We had unity. But once that Biafra War came, that is why even gonna go a little bit into politics. That is why politics is the way it is now too. And it's like, that is why there's so much competition between the Yoruba and the Igbo. And then some Yorubas, recently I was talking to somebody and they were like, and it was a Yoruba guy. He was like, I'm happy Tinubu is the president, even though he's not a good president, because we still have to preserve the Yoruba culture.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not just about that.
That's
It's not
true.
fair.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, let's really work.
I'm already hitting the ground running, like you said.
Well, for sure. He really
I
is.
love the way Nigeria is today.
And
Absolutely.
so like, and that's really what it is. And when we look at all of that stuff, it's like, sometimes my sister always used to tell me that, she's like, yo, sometimes the Yoruba people are the ones, like, we kind of hurting ourselves. Being honest, like, sometimes we need that change. Yeah, I'm being honest, like, and as a Yoruba person, and just knowing, like, and I just see how we do things, I'm still forever going to stand strong by my culture, forever, but we're hurting ourselves, because sometimes we need that change. Sometimes we need to incorporate and bring in other cultures so that they can help. We cannot do this alone. We cannot. So, that's really how I feel about this whole thing. Like, I just think we gotta come to an agreement as Yoruba and Igbo so we can be able to become better. Yes, that's what I
It's
think.
easier than none, to be honest, because like I feel like the mentality is very tunnel vision. There's lack of open-mindedness.
That's true.
So
Lack of education too.
That's true.
even though we have more access than any time in the world.
Nigeria does not have, I hear you. But
Here, the Nigerians here. Talk
Are
about
we talking about here or in Nigeria now?
I think both.
we can talk about both.
Because if you don't hear from Yoruba here.
No, I'm just talking about education wise.
Okay, guess what?
We have free education here.
True.
Yeah.
It's not really free, but yeah, we'll get into that.
No, we have free public education.
Okay.
Okay, like grade school, like, yeah.
That's not free either, but we'll get into that another day. Exactly. You know, like you gotta look at the all them taxations that are.
But that's fine. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
nobody's pinching pennies.
I
I pay for their kids to go to school.
Granted. So like I agree with you all. Like I personally still believe in like marrying outside the culture. It's in my family. I'm not even gonna say and try to act like I want to marry Europe. It's in my family. We married Germans. We married Irish people. You know, so it's in my family, and it's going really well for them, right? Because at the end of the day, we should not have to dictate love by your culture. Love should be dictated by
Love should be dictated by what?
love should be dictated by two people. And they coming together and saying that they love each other and they can deal with each other. It should not be dictated by, because you're Igbo, you cannot, no, hell no, it should not have to be like that. So, and that's just how I feel about the whole interracial thing. That's why
I actually have a cousin of mine, a family member of mine, who she was dating an Igbo guy. And like, they were in love, they're serious and everything. But when it was time to kind of like take her home, his family was like,
No.
You see, that's what I'm saying. We don't always choose.
no. And like, they had to break up.
Do you think does it differ between man versus woman? Like the daughters versus the sons?
No,
No, it's the same. It's the same. Because let's be honest, mothers, they will stand their ground when it comes down to that conversation. If they don't want that, and sometimes don't get me wrong, mothers they be right. When they feel the energy, they feel the energy.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to like, mothers will say no, and it's not the fathers. I'm gonna put that out there. It's never the fathers. It's mostly the mothers. The mothers are the one that no, you gotta marry because they.
No.
I personally no.
It could be just like the dad is like, okay, the mom takes care of the kids anyway, so you get those kids right. It could just be.
No, it's the man.
Since I'm Yoruba, I'm gonna speak solely on Yoruba. I know like. Mostly, it's like, obviously now they're starting to be more open, but the mothers are like, no, because they believe, because I remember an instant, sometime a while back, I was like, I'm not dating Nigerian, and my mom, she was a little upset, and I'm like, why are you upset? And she's like, who's gonna cook for you? Who's gonna treat you like the woman that the man that you're supposed to be treated like? And I'm like, Mom, you can find that anywhere. And she had to sit there and when I dated outside the culture, and she saw that, then my mom was a little bit more open. And she's like, okay, maybe there is hope somewhere else, so it doesn't have to be. But let's be honest, they all have that mentality like, they want somebody that is like them. Right. They want somebody that was brought up in a culture like them, that was the respect, the mother respect. They don't believe in that divorce. They don't believe in that, and like taking care of the house no matter what the situation is. They want that. They want to keep that within the our culture. So
Okay, so you brought up cooking. Okay, fine. What's your favorite meal? Yoruba food? Like Yoruba food?
I eat it all. But me, if you ask me personally, my favorite food, jollof rice and fried chicken.
Okay, so that's Nigerian. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Because for me personally, if I see my brothers marry, Black American whites, and you're asking for my Nigerian food, I'm gonna say go call your wife. That's the one you marry.
That's petty.
No, it's not petty.
That's
Your
very
wife should be able to cook for you and cook whatever meals you want to cook. We want to eat.
Oh, correct, yeah, you date whatever culture, yeah, I believe.
Enjoy that water
Yeah.
and juicy soup that she's making you. Enjoy that nasty, sticky jollof rice.
So you want your
She's telling everybody that every other
But that is still your brother.
I'm cooking for my Igbo man, my Nigerian man.
No, see, I get what
you
you're
like
doing.
her, she
I
makes
get what
food
you're
that
doing.
she look like you like.
What you mean, her?
Like, yeah, let's say, I don't know, some dish she makes really well.
I'm not
She
eating
makes
it. I'm not
You don't
eating
eat it?
That's not you're not judging.
Oh,
Eat whatever you marry. Eat whatever you marry.
I said wow.
You guys gotta have your bonds now. Wait,
Is that like you can teach her? Yo,
Like a teacher?
for
Is that
example,
my profession say teacher?
it doesn't
Okay.
matter. I'm gonna tell you this.
Google is free.
So for the sake
TikTok.
of food,
Oh.
you're gonna stay within the culture.
No, I'm not just saying that. I'm saying, but if a man chose,
Yeah,
that's what man. But marry what you ate. Eat what you married.
Wow, that's
Oh.
ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
Oh,
what
man.
conclusion have we come to?
We come to the conclusion.
Marry whatever you want to marry. I really don't care.
Stand
It's not
who you
my
are.
Well, she's not gonna go for it.
In conclusion, let's not stand by what Ruth is saying.
No, make conclusion. Do whatever you want to do. No one cares. It's between you two people.
Respect yourself.
Respectfully.
So it really do come down to.
Just don't call me when you want to drink. So you want to go marry Russia.
And she said,
How many brothers do you
I
have?
have 5.
You have 5 brothers.
Yes, I'm not cooking for none of them when they get married.
Wow.
Why would I?
So what if they come to your crib and they want to take?
I don't care.
I agree with her on that.
Thank you.
Like, come on, like if you marry somebody, like if I marry someone who's like, I don't know, French or something, he eats his own French food, I eat Nigerian food. At some point in our dating or in our courtship, he should teach me how to do his food.
Thank you.
Likewise,
Okay,
that's how we
okay,
learn. So
yeah.
it will not be a problem for
Okay,
me.
that's
so then as a whole,
Mhm.
intertribal marriage,
Like I said, do whatever you want to do.
it works.
Yeah.
It benefits both
It
parties.
can work when there's respect on both
Yes,
sides
right.
and constant learning.
I agree.
I agree.
There you go.
Yeah.